Long way back. Hello.
Another one. We've got this bag.
Hello, Jiggly. It was a small gin and tonic, 6 Yeah, get small coffee, no panic.
I said I may as well meet a few people while I'm here.
Peter Ritchie.
Oh, right, nice to meet you, yeah.
Yeah, that's Elsie's husband.
You have a lot to answer for.
Sorry?
You have a lot to answer for. You're the root of all this trouble.
She has,
Yeah. She's been busy.
Yeah. And you're from?
I'm from Cork City.
Cork City.
Yeah.
We'll be there next week.
Yeah, so I believe, we might meet up during the week.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That'd be nice, yeah. Okay, well. Enjoy the day. I'm sure it'll be a good day anyway.
Yeah,
Catching everything on there.
Coffee, no, please.
Thank you.
Still hard at it.
I'm sure Connie watches me.
Reception. Directly opposite. Smile for the camera.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Too much light.
My first connection with this was probably 3 or 4 years ago. Mary Jane Kerry here contacted me then for second Tom arrived in Ireland, and little did I know the influence that I would have over the rest of my life for the next 2 or 3 years. I couldn't go on a computer or a phone where I wouldn't find Elsie or Mary Jane online in America, and they chased me around mountains and islands and all over the world. And of course they did the same to so many others as well. We're here at the top of Ahido, carefully selected for today because it's looking out over the region known formerly as Loughalane, or the territory of the Omont of Loughalane, and of course our crowd were kings of this region until they disappeared into the mist sometime in the middle of the 1800s, being scattered down deep into Iraq and down into Corcoran. But one way or another, we're very much a Kerry clan. And this book here is an extraordinary contribution to our wider family, in as much as it's the first ever attempt to lay down some of our family histories. And I think the two ladies here, we'll talk about it later on, but certainly it should be seen as something that we can build on in the future. And it represents an enormous amount of voluntary effort from Elsie and the team of people that she gathered around her. And conservatively, it's no exaggeration to say that they would have worked 6 to 8 hours a day, 7 days a week for the last 6 or 7 years. These two women who were involved in Australia, in Shelburne and in Melbourne and Sydney, only met for the first time a year ago. Before that, it was all online. They saw each other's washing and everything else online. They hadn't actually met until last year. And then in Scotland, this other powerful axis of influence came from Captain Patrick here. And this very kind of hidden gem that we have, who's his wife here, Jane over here, who's a systemic researcher, and all kinds of stones were turned over. And we've asked Jimmy Dean here to come and say the words, because of course he's our government minister with responsibility and a great interest in the diaspora. And I just want to hand you over, Jimmy, to me about it.
Thank you. And thanks very much, Con. I'm delighted to be here with you this afternoon. I have an interest in, I suppose, in genealogy, and also I taught history for 8 years in a comprehensive school in the northern part of the county, where there were some Moriartys as well coming to school, let me say, up in Tarbert at that particular time. I'm delighted as well that Kay Cable is here with you. Over Kay here is one of our great genealogists in Kerry, actually, and she wrote a very good book recently on how to find, your DNA, how to find your past, how to find your ancestors, which is really a great production. And then she wrote a very important book as well called The Kerry Girls, where those people that were taken, girls, over 4,000 of them, that were taken to Australia under assisted immigration at that particular time, and who settled in Sydney, Brisbane, and around New South Wales. Now, I understand, Con was telling me that the next thing you're doing here now, and I totally agree with it and support it, is just using DNA to track people. And
I think, you see,
yeah,
that the Moriartys have been broken apart, fragmented for so long, that the only way we can deal
absolutely,
with it is get everybody DNA tested.
that's it, yeah.
And Dr. Finbar Mahoney has been writing to me. He's in charge of it for Family Search, and I just want all of you to do it. I mean, you may think it's useless, but every male member of the family do it.
Yeah.
And that way as an example, the Campbells did this. You can imagine the Scots being so organised, can't you? And they had this tradition that they were from a Viking boat that had landed on the west coast of Scotland, and it came out they were just 6 groups. It proved it.
No, it's very important, and when people come here from wherever, Australia, America, whatever, and they can't get their connection on our census or to the parish records, the only way then with certainty that I can get that connection is through DNA, and it's really very important. A lot of people have come and they've been disappointed in various ways, maybe sometimes kind of misled as well, but the only way is DNA. That's the only certainty. So that's why it's very important, and it's something that I'm encouraging. I did encourage when I was in that job, and I'm continuing to do it. I'm delighted, Elsie, that you were supporting this.
Oh, yes, definitely. It can take you back 500 years.
Mm-hmm. So that's really very important. So really, one thing that I've noticed from traveling around the world is that the big connection is DNA. It's amazing. People want to connect with their family, with their bloodline. And then after that is place. The place where people comes from. It could be the crossroads, it could be the village or the parish, then the county, and then the country. But the DNA is the most important connection. It's amazing, really, with people. And then the place where they come from. And I just met somebody from Chicago last week, and he called to see me in Dublin, and he was after being up in one of the islands, might be in his Turk, and he saw where his great-grandfather, which is fairly recent, came from, and he was just blown away with emotion overseeing the house where his great-grandfather, his great-grandfather came out of. And he was very lucky. They went up to the island with no connections, met somebody, and they said, we are whatever. And the man said, oh yeah, he came from down the road there. So it was great, it just worked out so well. And he even saw photographs of his grandfather, and he couldn't believe it. So that connection with place is very important. And then in Ireland, because I suppose of the GA, mostly we have this real connection with our counties, and Kerry, I suppose because of the influence of Gaelic football down here, which is a part of our psyche really, whether we like to forget about, I suppose, matches like a few weeks ago, we can't, and our mind won't allow us to do it. So it's very much part of the psyche, and that's why people connect with their county, with that green and gold, through Gaelic football, the same as Kilkenny and Hurling, and now Dublin as well, because they've been relatively successful in recent years. In Dublin now, what you'd see youngsters wearing is a Dublin shirt, and it means an awful lot to them, pride in their city, because they have another team to connect with. Soccer, they have different clubs, it's Leinster Rugby, so it's Gaelic football. So Gaelic football has been very instrumental in creating that county connection with the colours and with the place. So I found that that's very, very strong, that connection. So just in conclusion, look, I'm delighted to be here again. Thank you, Con, for asking me just to launch the book. I have special interest in whatever job I'll be in after a big all-Ireland kind of final in a few months' time. I'll be still very interested in genealogy and in helping and supporting people. So I would like just to congratulate you, Elsie, obviously.
And Mary Jane, and Captain Patrick.
Yeah, I have them all listed here. Con listed all the people I should thank. So I will do each one of you individually. Con leaves nothing out. So anyway, Elsie yourself, and I know you put an awful lot of work into this, and Con was telling me about the commitment you gave to it. And one thing I noticed about Sydney, there's a really vibrant Irish community over there.
Oh, there is indeed.
And really strong connection. And recently I brought together parliamentarians with Irish DNA in them from all over the world in Dublin. And they got to speak in the Parliament, and when they realised that they were the only people that ever spoke inside an our Dáil, apart from Presidents Kennedy, Clinton and Reagan, and Hawke and Keating from Australia, and Tony Blair from England, so they felt really privileged then. But there were some of the people there from New South Wales as well, and they were really very proud and emotional about getting an opportunity to speak in Parliament in Dublin. And I understand your father was it? Grandfather was a member of the New South Wales Parliament, which is a very powerful parliament. Let me say, Sydney itself is 4 million people, nearly as big as Ireland, and it's a very powerful region in Australia. So thank you very much. Then just Mary Jane Kirby then from Melbourne, and I was in Melbourne too just last summer, I must say, and Melbourne is that huge connection. It's rated as the top city in the world to live in, Melbourne, and it's a beautiful city. And I was at the House of Parliament, and then we went down to church near it, and I was delighted to see a great statue of our liberator Daniel O'Connell just outside the church there. I didn't realise that there was a memorial to Daniel O'Connell in Melbourne, but it's one of the finest that's in the world, and it would tell you the influence of that man from not too far away from here, how he influenced the world. And there's that great connection between Melbourne and the Victorian Parliament with Ireland as well. And we had some of their members at that event in Dublin recently. And then of course Captain Patrick here, who played a very, very important role as well in this book, and really is very proud of it. And of course Jane Moriarty as well, who played a critical role in it. And I know there are others involved in various ways in this book, but look, it's a fabulous book anyway, and it's going to be this is going to be the Bible for the Moriarty family, let's face it. And it's going to lead to a lot of more kind of study, and I'm sure, like everything else, people will find connections with this book that may not be in this book, but it will lead to more study, although looking at it is quite exhaustive, really. The research that was done, I would say there's very little left out, but there's always some other connection. So thank you very much, Con, for inviting me to launch it, and I'm delighted to do so now. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There's a wedding outside the door, but sure, this is all part of our kind of history that we launch something like this on the day, a great day of a wedding for somebody else outside the door next door.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Thank you everybody for coming. The book's on sale here tonight. I don't know what to say. It's lovely to see you all. Lovely to see the faces. And I hope to meet every one of you. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Again, thank you, Minister, for your kind words. Really left us nothing else to say, except for one thing. The object of this book was not to write the Bible of the Moriartys, but to introduce all your various families of Moriarty together, to bring you together. And I think that is very much what this book has done. It's brought a lot of people into the knowledge that there are other Moriarty families around the world, and they are accessible. And I think this book is going to succeed in bringing people together, making people think about their families. We haven't written up a comprehensive book about every family of Moriarty that we've found. We've left out an awful lot, particularly of the modern generations, so that you've got something to go on. You've got the background. And now it's up to you to carry it forward into the present generation and get your children to do the same. That way we'll keep abreast of what's going on. And the Moriartys have got the hell of a lot to be proud of around this world. 2 admirals, one from way back, this is my forebear, Admiral Silverius. There's another one in America, Admiral Moriarty, who was the first captain of one of their big carriers. In fact, the first of their really big carriers. So, we haven't been unsuccessful. But it's all going to be a flop if those of us who have come together don't stay together. So for heaven's sake, now you know who everybody is, keep in touch. And thank you all very much for coming.
For the archives.
So to help with that process, we're hoping that one of the actions out of today will be the setting up of a website on a sort of open source basis, so that Moriartys and those who love that Moriartys across the world can have access to all that information and build on this. And I've just had a little role in this, but what has been really, really striking is the sheer effort and commitment that these people have put in completely on a voluntary basis, acting out of a deep passion and a deep sense of they being, as Tomas Crane said, Nivek and the hate reached on, that their lives wouldn't be again. They have a very, very strong commitment to passing on incredibly rich papers in their own immediate family possession. And I think it's quite extraordinary that they've travelled from that continent here with Australia, and we've got people here from Dakota in the hills here. But anyway, at the end of the day here, as Captain Patrick said, this is really about us. building on this, and we owe them a huge debt of gratitude for their effort. And thank you very much, all of you. Whoever wants to buy a book, I think you're going to sign them in.
They're all signed, ready to go.
And whoever wants to buy one can give these two over here. They're Moriarty. They're my son and daughter. They're not going to pocket money. And the other, which more important thing is, Lee has a piece of paper there. I'd love to get your phone numbers and your emails so that we can send out information on that link. Sinead, bring it on.
Oh, yeah, Dingle, nothing else.
Get you two rogues. This is the last bit of Sean and Mary. See bad boy. 18 seconds. Why bye bye.